Hi, my name is Przemek. I'm the designer and creator of MetaGrid. And today I'm very excited because I'm going to talk about MetaGrid version 2. It's going to be the first public sneak peek into what we've been busy with for the last several months. We were supposed to go into public beta tests this April, but we are not ready yet. We don't feel we are ready. There are still several things to be improved upon and polished, but we are ready to start showing off some cool functionality that you're going to be using daily while using MetaGrid version 2. Today I'm going to talk about buttons. It's the very core of MetaGrid experience. MetaGrid version 2, from the perspective of the complete roadmap, is going to be much more than just buttons. But buttons are the very core of MetaGrid experience. And as powerful as they are in MetaGrid version 1, there's still a huge room to improve and to grow upon. And I think that MetaGrid version 2 will deliver a complete package as far as the buttons are concerned. So, ladies and gents, please meet MetaGrid version 2. It's a completely new design, completely new design language, new experience, new functionalities, and I think that it's going to take the whole control surface concept to the next level. So here we are. I've got MetaGrid version 2 running on one of my iPads, and I'm going to switch into Cubase. And I've got a small grid of buttons that will help me to show you button behaviors and button types. So we've got standard buttons that react on touch down action, like using track preset. So I press this button, the action or the macro is triggered, and your computer reacts accordingly. What's great is that we have implemented the small, what we called action bar. It will give you a nice visual feedback on macro components being triggered. So when I press using track preset, you can see the name of the action that is being triggered on your computer when it disappears. So that was the standard button triggered on the touchdown action. Then we've got momentary switches. Yes, finally. So you'll be able to trigger MIDI notes. Momentary switches have got two states, on and off, and you'll be able to assign different macros to both states. I'm on Halion Sonic track. It's a great help for note triggering, articulation triggering, and no need to explain it further. These were momentary switches. Now we go to toggle switches with two states, on touchdown, and off on the next touchdown. So we've got three buttons in the bottom section of the screen that represent play, cycle, and record. So as you can see, the state of this button varies depending on the action that you do. So on the first touchdown, you've got the on state, and when you press it again, it goes into the off state. Now, what's great is that MetaGrid finally will not only talk to your computer, but as a real partner, a husband or wife, finally it will listen. So when I press play in Cubase, as you can see, my MetaGrid reacts accordingly and highlights this button. When I press cycle, it does it accordingly again. So finally, bidirectional MIDI communication between MetaGrid and your computer. I'm very happy about it. But it's not all. MetaGrid takes the concept of toggle switches to the next level, and we have implemented so-called switch groups. Switch groups will enable you to group several toggle switches and create various relationships. Let's have a look at console key editor and call pads on the right. When I press console, as you can see, the button got highlighted, and of course the action was triggered. And when I press key editor, So you can see the Cubase presents key editor. Key editor button is highlighted. Console button got turned off. And when I press chord pads, I've got chord pads in Cubase. Chord pads button got highlighted, and key editor button got deselected. So basically, it enables you to switch between various states. One button toggles off all of the other buttons in the group. Kind of a democratic group, so one button has got the same rights as all the other buttons in the same group. Now we go into a less democratic relationship. It means a kind of an ancient one, master-slave relationship. When you look at these buttons for adding tracks here, under them you will find the tracks, a very small button called tracks. It is the master button. It's small, but it's the master. Well, on purpose. And when I press tracks, as you can see, the visual aspect of all the other buttons in this group changes. So when the master is off, all the slaves are off. When the master is on, all the slaves are on. So master tells, servants do. And so, for example, I can add a new track. Here I am. But when I press the master, the same button will be doing something else, creating, adding some other tracks, right? In that case, add folder tracks. So this enables us to create groups of buttons that will expand the available screen surface, and instead of 5 buttons, in fact, you've got 10 buttons available for your disposal. It's nice, isn't it, right? But it's not all. Apart from the that kind of relation, we've got another master-slave relationship, but this time a bit more democratic, where the slave can influence the master. Right. So let's have a look at the markers group. Let me switch off the add track dialog here. And so when the markers button is off, the slave buttons enable me to move to respective markers 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. But when the marker is on, you can see that the buttons change their appearance, and also they'll trigger different macros. And in that respect, they will recall the cycle markers. So when I press 2, as you can see, the cycle marker is highlighted and the loop is activated, and it's so-called recalling the cycle marker. But an interesting thing is that I don't know if you've noticed that when I press the slave tells the master to turn off. Bam. So it's a kind of a single action relationship. So the master and the slaves tells the master to turn off, and in consequence, all the other slaves are turned off as well. So that was the first sneak peek into MetaGrid version 2. I hope you enjoyed it, and you can't wait to get your fingers wet with all the functionalities that MetaGrid version 2 will deliver and give you at the tips of your fingers. Keep your fingers crossed for us. We are a very small team working under a huge pressure of time and resources, but we are determined to deliver an application that is going to change the way you work with all your applications. So stay safe. Let's keep in touch, and I will be showing you some other cool functionalities during the next weeks. So see you.